Because now we're reaching the end game of this series, Neon Mixtape Tour is the first world of uncharted territory for me. Going into this video, I literally had no idea what to expect. Oh no! And I failed to realise that this would be the hardest hurdle in our challenge by far. I'm not gonna lie, this world's RNG based gimmicks caused me a lot of trouble, and that's not even mentioning the massive amount of new zombies that we encountered. However, I'll talk about that more later on in this episode. Well anyways, welcome back to part 8 of my series where I tried to beat all of Plants vs Zombies 2 using only fruits. And please, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video and appreciate the torture that I had to endure during this insane run of the Neon Mixtape Tour. Before I start this video, I need to tell you a lot about the off-camera grinding that I've been doing. Mainly thanks to your guys' comments. By playing Arena, I was able to unlock a new fruit, the electric eel. I mean peel, sorry, my bad. Anyways, I didn't know what this guy did, and to be honest, still don't really. But just imagine if that boomerang plant had electric powers, and it's basically the same thing. Also, his plant food super looks insane, but you'll see that in action later on in this video. One last thing though, I'm pretty sure bananas are fruits and not berries or vegetables or whatever else my comments are saying. And even if they are berries, I don't really see an issue, and hopefully you guys don't either. So yes, I will be using him, and maybe even another banana that we'll unlock later on in this series. Now, with the boring stuff out of the way, days 1 and 2 were extremely standard, showcasing this world's main gimmick. The sound and visual cues that play every level actually impact the behaviour of the different zombie types in this world. This basically makes RNG an even bigger issue throughout this video, because certain zombies increase in speed, strength, and even unlock new abilities based on the random background music which is playing. For example, the punk zombie is extremely basic, really only being visually different to a normal zombie. However, when his music starts playing, he's able to kick our fruits off the whole map, exactly like the football mech from the far future. As well as this, he's also faster and harder to deal with in general, making this world a lot tougher than it needs to be. Every new zombie in the Neon Mixtape Tour also will get different buffs depending on the music, but I'll explain them in detail when we encounter these zombies. Anyways, day 5 was the first protection level on this world, and to be honest, it wasn't anything special, but we do unlock a new plant, the celery stalker. What the whoa, okay, let's just skip past that guy, I guess. Day 6 was another conveyor belt level, but we do actually run into one of those world-specific zombies I was waffling about earlier. I'm pretty sure it's that one character from the Trolls movie, but it could also just be a pride parade. I don't really know, to be honest. Anyways, this zombie is just so annoying. She's basically a walnut equivalent for zombies because all the dudes behind her are protected by this weird particle effect. Also, anything she touches will vanish into thin air, which for one reminds me about your dad and is also quite costly when sun is limited. After sweeping past day 7, we run into this insane horde of zombies, which we somehow managed to defeat, mainly thanks to the overpowered Wintermelon. As with most of the other worlds, these early levels weren't too tricky, with days 9, 10 and even 11 all being levels where we couldn't pick our plants. And even day 12 wasn't an issue, which is pretty lucky considering that we ran into another new type of zombie and this world's gargantua on the same day. However, the same could not be said for this next level, which I think holds the record for most time spent on a single day so far in this series. I'm talking about day 13, a plan your defense level. The reason this level was just so difficult is the limited sun we're given and the insanely overwhelming horde of zombies. The amount of setups that I used that just didn't work is absolutely ridiculous. I think I was overcomplicating this level, trying to pair up different combinations of fruit and see if they would work. I was genuinely so desperate I tried cheating by using a non-fruit plant, but somehow that didn't even work and I just lost faster than normal. Honestly, it just came down to trial and error, and I bet you wouldn't have guessed it, but the plain old dragon brute just beat this level by himself. I urge any of you guys watching to try this level with my restrictions, just so you lot can see my pain and how difficult this level really is. Anyways, after beating this basically impossible level on our 1000th attempt, we have a well-deserved break on day 14, as we weren't even allowed to pick our plants. However, now that we're actually halfway through this world, most of the levels from here on out actually require a little bit of brain power. On day 15, we had to protect this whole row of disgusting vegetable plants, but I couldn't even do that due to the sheer amount of things happening on screen. I think I've said this in every single episode of this series, but my pea-sized brain will get distracted by the smallest thing, and having to multitask, especially on chaotic levels like this one, is just always an issue for me. However, as always, we eventually managed to suss out this level and beat it surprisingly easily, even with some help from the rarely seen Citron. Anyways, day 16 was another conveyor level, but we do run into the breakdancer zombie on day 17. He's not an issue for the time being, only speeding up the waves by kicking his teammates closer to our fruits. However, yet again, the dragon brute and using the impaired plant food is able to reliably counter this Richard Watterson wannabe. I don't really know why, but day 18 was only one wave long, making it extremely easy and boring. But the same could not be said for day 18, another conveyor belt level where we actually encounter a new fruit. It's the electric blueberry, a plant I honestly didn't know existed before recording this video. His main attack is basically a copy-paste of Lightning Reed's plant food. Also, his attack speed is pretty slow, as well as costing a hefty 250 sun. I don't think he'll be very viable in a challenge like this. To be honest, if we do ever unlock this fruit, he probably won't get a lot of game time, which is a bit unfortunate, but his attack power is just a bit underwhelming. It's exactly what I would have said until I saw this happen. I wish you guys could have seen my live reaction, because honestly my jaw dropped. I had no clue, but apparently this fruit can just one-shot a Gargantua. And I don't know why none of you told me this earlier. After finding this out, I wanted to unlock him as soon as possible. However, he's stuck behind a paywall, which is against my rules and also out of budget. I know it's annoying, but I think paying for plants will just make this challenge a bit too easy, which is the opposite of what I want. But at least he got a little mention in this video, unlike some of the other premium fruit plants. Day 20 was another level that I actually struggled with. But whenever I'm in doubt, I just spam Dragon Brutes, and luckily we were able to beat this level after a couple of attempts and move on to day 21 obviously, which actually wasn't too difficult. The issue was getting a decent early defense in place. However, when we managed to get it down, this level was fairly simple. Day 22 is another conveyor belt level, where we actually run into a new type of zombie, and I can't lie, this guy's art style is pretty sick. This Bob Ross looking zombie spawns in these pixelated enemies, and honestly I've got no clue what they do apart from looking and sounding absolutely awesome. Anyways, this day was pretty easy, along with the next couple of levels. I'm not sure why, maybe the arcade zombie just isn't very powerful, but there seemed to be quite a significant dip in difficulties for these next few levels, with day 25 only being one wave long for whatever reason. Anyways, this video is taking far too long to make as is, so let's just speedrun through this last bit of the world. Days 26 and 27 were both gimmick levels, consisting of a protection and conveyor belt one. Anyway, these days were both pretty standard, with the general strategy consisting of Kiwi Beast clearing swarms and spamming as many plants as possible on the conveyor level. We're gonna swiftly move on to day 28, which was absolutely insane. The amount of zombies in this level is the most I've ever seen throughout this entire playthrough, especially with the sheer quantity of arcade zombies and how many minions they spawn. This level was extremely tough, but yet again, it seems like whenever we're in a dire situation, the Dragon Brute somehow pulls through, and we managed to barely beat this level through the skin of our teeth. Days 29 and 30 were essentially the same thing. Insane hordes of zombies, but with Gargantuas this time. Surprisingly, the Citron came in really handy, being able to take down any bulky zombies. But of course, these levels were mostly carried by the Dragon Brute. This guy is just overpowered. On day 31, we sadly weren't allowed to pick our plants, but the game does gift us the electric blueberry for one final time. But this does mean that we were able to beat the entirety of the Neon Mixtape tour using only fruits. Unfortunately, the same could not be said for Zomboss, and we had to use some non-fruit plants. But regardless, I think we've done pretty well for this world. It only took me 2 months to beat. In all fairness, I have been away for several weeks, and there's even proof of that in my community tab. Also, now because it's the exam season, I've really started to revise a lot. Okay, I don't think anybody's gonna believe that excuse. I can't lie, I'm just kinda lazy. These videos actually take ages to make, especially the editing part on my laptop, which means I am currently looking for an editor, so if you want a job and know how to edit or know someone who does, then feel free to email me in the email in my bio and the description of this video, and I'll reply as soon as possible. Other than that, thank you guys so much for 20k. We're a fifth of the way to the big 100. I know that sounds like a lot, but I know we can do it. So if you haven't already, could you please subscribe? It's free, helps me out a ton, and also massively boosts my ego. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of this video. I hope I made your day just a little bit more enjoyable. Anyways, please stay tuned because the finale of this series is right around the corner. I've got a couple tricks on my sleeve, so trust me, it will be worthwhile. Anyways, once again, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. See ya!